As much as The Ghost of Tsushima was a blockbuster success and a visual masterpiece, it's based on a real-life historical event, the actual Mongol invasion of the island of Tsushima in the 1300s. One would wonder how accurate was the game against real history, events, people, and etc. As much as Jin Sakai was larger-than-life hero in the game, could we even see him in the annals of Japanese history? Hi, this is Demigod Christie, a 40-ish gamer, who asks the questions, what are the facts and the fictions in the Ghost of Tsushima? Before we begin, we publish gaming content every day, so like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification button so you'll be informed whenever we upload a new video. And of course, spoiler alert. Ghost of Tsushima takes us to the Japanese island of Tsushima during the 13th century, right as the Mongols are invading the island as part of their latest conquest. After a devastating first assault, Samurai Jin Sakai is one of the last remaining warriors left to defend his home and repel the Mongolian forces. Where a small force of local samurai defending against thousands of invading Mongols is more or less accurate, the Mongolian army did invade Tsushima in 1274, as the game depicts, and they were met by a small group of samurai that were quickly overwhelmed. Ghost of Tsushima starts at the basic same premise, but very quickly takes a few liberties by adding some fiction to the mix. Bows, not katana. While samurai are almost always depicted as wielding swords in popular culture, with the way of the sword being a widely known ideal associated with the samurai, they didn't prefer swords in the 13th century. Many samurai were taught to fight with bow and arrows, while on horseback before any kind of blade. That swanky shogun armor you imagine when somebody says samurai wasn't used at that point either. Mongolians also commonly preferred a bow and arrow for combat. Most people's ideal is really based on an idea of samurai which is really more of the 16th, 17th, 18th century idea of samurai. The katanas was actually introduced only later than the 13th century during the Sengoku era, 1467 to 1615, or the Edo era, 1603 to 1868. Tsushima, you shall not pass. In the Ghost of Tsushima, Jin Sakai, with the help of his allies and the shogun with Lord Shimura, was able to make a last stand in Tsushima port, Izumi. Jin not only killed Khotun Khan, but prevented the invasion of the Mongols to move forward to mainland Japan. Although the Mongol forces were able to occupy part and parcel of Tsushima, in the game the Mongols were not completely successful in subjugating Tsushima. However, in recorded history though, after the invading Mongols defeated the 80 samurais and their troops, it took only a few days for them to bring Tsushima down on their knees, and burning down most of the buildings at Sasura and slaughtered most of the inhabitants. After laying waste to Tsushima in November 13th, the Mongols sailed to attack Iki. Historical figures. In the game, it was Lord Shimura who was the Jito, or Lord of Tsushima, and 80 samurais who faced the landing invading party of the Mongols at Komodo Beach. In actual historical facts, it was under the leadership of Jitoda, Deputy Governor So Sukekune, and the So clan of Tsushima that faced the Mongols. So Sekokune died during the invasion, while in the game Lord Shimura was spared by the Mongol leader. Here we see, although the invasion event is factual, All the names of personalities, clans, and etc. were made up. It was Kublai Khan, the grandson of Genghis Khan, who invaded the Japanese peninsula, and there are no record of any known descendant named Khotun Khan under the lineage of Genghis. Jin Sakai and his uncle Lord Shimura weren't present at the initial battle for Tsushima, nor was anyone with similar naming. Both characters are entirely fictional. The Sakai samurai clan has existed in real life for generations, but it wasn't established until the 14th century, and the Sakai clan has never been led by a man named Jin. There's also no such thing as the Shimura clan in Japan. Though Shimura is a fairly common surname, I believe Sucker Punch avoided actual historical personalities so as not to be restricted by historical records if they do make another sequel to the Ghost of Tsushima. The Divine Wind. In Ghost of Tsushima, Jin stands up to the Mongolians and will presumably discover a way to repel them by the end of the game. No human analog to Jin exists in real life. In history, the real Mongolian army was thwarted in Kyushu, Japan by the hurricane in 1274, well after they conquered Tsushima. A different hurricane allegedly thwarted their second invasion attempt in 1281. But there are reasons on how they came up with the name Jin. Jin is the personification of that hurricane, which was later dubbed Kamikaze, meaning divine wind. At that time, this miracle was chalked up to the thunder god Rai Jin, giving the Japanese people a helping hand. The Kamikaze has since been written by most of as myth, but some modern scientists believe it actually occurred. It was from Rai Jin that Jin was derived from. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time.